right, so we can circle back to going through the evidence that's going to come in with the next few witnesses, including Mr. Sprinkle. If y'all are ready on that, we can move on to the wiretap evidence that the state intends to use. We can,
The PowerPoint maybe is.
I mean, we can do the PowerPoint. Would the wiretap evidence come before the PowerPoint?
No, it would
Okay,
come after the
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
All right, yeah, we can look at that. So everybody should have the kind of revised PowerPoint, I guess, that the state provided over the weekend, I think.
We display it on, you're on the board loud, so you can display it on the screen so we can easily run through it.
Yeah.
And Your Honor, if I may just turn my back, you will give a thumb drive to Chris Ricker. Yes.
And so what the state sent over at this point would be, y'all have taken out everything that you don't intend to use. So the hope is for y'all that all of what you provided is usable, and we'll sort that out. All right. Yeah, so if somebody wouldn't mind, I guess, just giving us kind of a slide by slide. And I
Because we
don't, I
can
mean, I
kind of
don't
see it
know
on
that
your
it needs to
screen.
be displayed on Zoom as long as we're all looking at the same thing. That might be a better approach. So let's all just get our email that sent it over and open it up and look at the slides on our personal computers or laptops.
It was an email Sunday at 9:15 p.m.
It's visible a little bit on Love's screen, a little bit.
It was sent Sunday at 9:15.
And was it a Dropbox link or was it an attachment?
It was an attachment with a PDF.
Okay, right. Okay. All right, is everybody ready? Everybody got it up? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. Slide one, I don't see how the state could possibly need that slide.
No, that's not. No, I mean, it's not. Just, no.
Okay. Slide one's out. Slide two, this is just sort of,
These are
Take it out on her own.
identifiers that APD has identifiers that APD has identified, and
all right, hadn't there already been testimony about that?
there has been testimony about snakes and tattoos and red flags. Yes,
Okay, so that one's out too.
if you say it is, it is.
Huh?
I mean,
just to make sure we're all on the same page. What you're referring to, slide number 2, is the picture that has an arm with a
Yeah.
tattoo. Okay.
Yeah.
Which also, coincidentally, is the second slide in the attachment. That's what I'm going by.
All right. Just didn't want to make sure you weren't
All right.
on the title page and then
Okay.
we're on the same page,
All right.
literally.
Okay, good. All right. Slide number 3. What's y'all's argument for needing that?
Okay, we can.
Because we've still got some language on all of this too.
So we can take out, we can take out all the language.
Mm-hmm.
We take out all the language.
Okay.
Yep. Can you take that aside? John, may we be allowed to remove the Mondo board, the IT department?
Yes, that would be wonderful. We're not going to use it, so out it goes. So y'all go ahead and, yeah.
Not right now.
Okay. What about these 5 pictures?
So the pictures, Judge, are just, as he's talking, he would,
All right. So who are I see we've got
Defendant Williams,
Mr. Williams, Rich Homie Kwan.
Birmingham.
Are there pictures already in evidence of
Yes.
those 3 people?
Yes.
Then use the pictures already in evidence. How about the bottom 2? Who are they?
Donovan Thomas is on the far right side.
Is there a picture of him already in evidence?
There is a picture of him in
All
evidence.
right, use that. What's the middle 5th one?
And this is Defendant Williams. And pre the gang, pre the dispute, the war,
Okay. I mean, is there a picture similar to that, that if he needs to identify people or a group of people he could use?
Yes. Numerous.
Tell him, Keith.
Hold on 1 second, Your Honor.
Hilton.
We have videos of the groups of
All right, so
persons
you could do a
together.
still from a video.
We
Okay.
can.
All right, how about slide 4?
Here, this is just, Your Honor, and our position regarding the displaying of these pictures is that they're demonstrative as he's talking about them. Of course, they've seen Mr. Copeland for what feels like ever. So they sort of know who he is. They haven't seen as many pictures, just face shots of Mr. Watts. So they're not, we would just put forth that there's,
Is there a picture of Mr. Watts in evidence?
Yes,
but
there
they're
is.
demonstrative.
Looks kind of similar to this?
So the reason that we would ask that the PowerPoint photos be allowed to be kept in is they're demonstrative. These are clear face shots of who they are talking about. There's nothing that is inherently or substantially more prejudicial due to the cumulative nature of these photographs that would cause either defendant to be in danger of being convicted of something or on something other than proof of the crimes we have listed in the
Are
indictment.
they going to, for some reason, be talking about Mr. Copeland and Mr. Watts together, that they're like,
Yes.
it's going to be crucial for the jury to see here's Copeland and here's Watts?
Not crucial,
Watts is shell
but
co.
he will be talking about a specific interaction, specific.
Okay, well, he can
examination.
talk about that without this, and if you need to, like, have the jury reminded, oh, this is what Mr. Watts looks like or something, just use something already in evidence. All right, what's this picture of some fence?
The gambling house that
Do we have pictures already in evidence of that?
knew.
Okay, and this one's fine. Slide 6. With the stack of money and obscene gesture.
Hold on. Well, that's Mr. Copeland, and it was that stack of money and that flashing of it at a club that led to the conflict between him and Mr. Watts. So
Why is she so giddy?
We've also got video of him doing exactly the same thing.
we don't have that video.
Yes, we do. We've had a video and
All right, well, don't talk over each other. Do you know what exhibit number that is?
Your Honor, we initially entered the video in June. However, that was after 3:00. And so we did not enter
Ah.
it again
Okay.
this time around. So I do not believe the video is in evidence. I'll
Okay.
check. I believe that was after
All right.
3:00.
Actually, good point there, because we do need to make sure when we're finally reviewing what evidence is in and out, that we make sure that everything that was entered in that little period of time is unentered, if you will. So, okay, this one's fine. He can use this one.
Can I inquire as to exactly what the relevance would be of showing a picture of Mr. Copeland holding money and flashing the bird?
Well, I mean, they said that was what had started a beef between him and Watts,
The flashing of the large sums of money.
not the flipping the bird.
I mean, I don't.
So you don't know what
Yes, no.
started it.
The flipping the bird. I mean, it wouldn't have. Our
And she didn't
argument
really
is
say
that
that's what
it's
started it.
relevant
It was the
because
same
it
night.
shows Mr. Copeland with that huge stack of money that we're talking about, and it makes
Is this the night of,
it's.
or is this
You
just
say the night of, not
the
John
night-
and Thomas.
No,
Bird.
the night that the beef starts between he and Watts.
No, Your Honor, it is not.
It's just an example of him with a
Flipping the
bunch of
bird
money.
and holding money.
An exemplar. Good
It's-
word.
I think it's January the 8th. The 6th, January the 6th. So it was the night, it was.
Okay, and for clarity here, earlier in the chat I said, hey, should we switch over to Law and Crime? They have closed captions, but it sounds quieter. It sounds like the whole feed for the media pool just got quiet around this point. So if you guys want to redo that vote with new information that all of the streams are quiet and you'd prefer captions, let me know in the chat. We'll switch at the next break. But it's the feed. This is still full volume.
It preceded it. That's the night that the fight started that led to the arrest of, I think, Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Arnold the first time when Bloody James punched out.
So this is a picture from the night that, it all got shot up or
I'll-
something?
I confirm, but that's what
After-
my understanding, that this is January the 6th.
I don't know January 6th. Where does that date come
I don't
from?
know. I don't know. Maybe they know what he was wearing to the
It's
club
the
that night.
detective that gave it to us, so.
My recollection is that he had different clothes on the night when he was flashing the money than he does in this particular picture. I do not believe.
So do you have any kind of picture from that? I mean, if you can confirm it was that night,
We
that's
will.
fine. Otherwise, it's just an example of, hey,
Well, not just.
here's what we mean about flashing money.
No, the large amounts of money.
Right.
I think during the course of the interviews that the jury has heard, you hear them talking about a very, very large sum of money.
Right.
And one might argue or wonder, what kind of money, how much money did he have access to that kind of money? Him having a stack of money like this. I mean, it could have all been ones, but even ones would have been a lot. I mean, I'm just saying. So the relevance bar is, of course, as the court knows, is a low bar. And the fact that he's sitting there with that.
Okay. Well, he also is flashing the bird, though, or flipping the bird. So that's a little bit offensive, I'm sure, to some of the jurors. So maybe there's why don't you find out whether A, this is that night, and B, if there's some other photo already in evidence with him with large stacks of money, okay? Or to some of the jurors. So maybe there's why don't you
There we
find
go.
out whether A, this is that night, and B, if there's some other photo already in evidence with him with large stacks of money, okay? So we'll revisit that when we
It is gonna, their logo is gonna block
Yes, ma'am.
the PowerPoint, but we have captions to hear what they're saying.
All right, slide 7.
Shout out to their AV and tech issues today.
This just shows a couple of the, I mean, the Metro, but y'all, there's been testimony about the Metropolitan, right?
TIG studios that
Right.
Mr. Copeland is alleged to have shot up or believed to have shot up.
We've had a number of crime scene photos ended of the Metropolitan. So there are a number of photos of that in already.
So it doesn't, there's nothing, if Detective Dennis is talking about this, putting it up doesn't take extra time. It just orients the jury as to what he's talking about. So it's a demonstrative aid that orients the jury, that is helpful to the jury, that is substantially similar to what that is exactly what he's talking about. So there's nothing that should preclude
Okay,
him
and
from showing it to the jury.
TIG is who's,
Think It's a Game
Right,
is the company that Rich Homie Quan was under, that Think It's a Game Studios is inside
Right.
that building right there.
okay. This one's fine. All right, moving on to slide 8. So this is several pictures of Mr. Thomas. We definitely do not need the Club Crucial Will Always Remember You part of that.
Okay.
And you know,
Remember, this is what they redacted.
the language about whether he's a high-ranking member of a rival gang. I mean, that's,
It can come out.
thank you.
But
I know it's asserted that he is, but this sets it forth like
yes. It can-
fact, and
it-
that's for the jury to determine.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just trying to X over everything.
Okay, so,
Did you have something?
I mean, those 3 pictures basically of Mr. Thomas and some of his
Brothers, family,
Well,
whomever.
I would object to the pictures of,
grief.
well, the pictures period. I mean, I don't know what the relevance is and what the jury would need or how this would aid the jury in understanding any testimony from Detective Dennis to show pictures of him and various individuals just standing around.
So, do you want to elucidate us on that?
Yes, we can take.
Okay, so they won't use that one. All right, slide 9.
So slide 9 shows just the type of,
Are these actual posts already in evidence?
no, we did not.
Okay, well, if they're not, then I would think if you throw these up, that is more than demonstrative. So if you want to enter those as examples, we can talk
Okay.
about that, but
Okay.
otherwise he can just testify that here's what happened on social media after the death.
Okay.
All right, slide 10.
Your Honor,
Yeah,
I would be objecting to Detective Dennis saying this is what I saw on social, okay, you understand that?
okay.
Would
And
be hearsay.
because, and how would, well, no, what he saw on social media, he saw on social media.
If he's going to say, I saw on social media and someone posted the following, I'm assuming that's for the truth of the matter asserted, and the post should not come in. I don't know who posted it. It would have to lay a foundation for the writing.
So the fact that the posts were made and that they were publicly made is part of, is the evidence itself, not that it's true. This death to the big homie sent the word out from behind the wall.
What would you have the answer generally be? I mean, what would you presume his answer would be, or your question and his answer?
Were there threats made against YSL in the moments, hours, days following Donovan Thomas's murder? Yes. There were public threats, social media posts, and the like, and these would be them.
Okay, well, that would. Okay, then that would be overruled because it isn't being offered for its truth. Okay, but we can just do that at the point in trial. We don't have to have this slide.
Okay.
So it slides out.
Slides out. All right, slide 10.
L after L for Love's redacted presentation.
Tell me, I guess, what I'm looking at and why he's going to be using this.
We can take this out. I think that this picture is already in any event.
What'd they get in the picture
Right.
of the gang house? The gang house, the gambling
Slide
house?
11. There's a lot going on this slide.
There he is. He can testify about that. It's basically it's Mr. It's the services of the victim in this case. So he can testify about it.
It's a good
Take the
question.
victim impact.
What would be the
Just-
relevance of how, many people were moved by his death?
So she laughs.
Judge, if I may come back to the court on that, I can take out the slide and
Okay,
as to the questions about it.
all right.
So 11's out.
So the slide, yes, 11 is not
Adams.
going to be used and
The
she'll get back to me on the relevance of how crowded his funeral was.
he's very loved.
She just mumble he's
And
very
maybe it
loved.
is. I don't know. But
Why is that relevant for
All
the
right.
jury to hear?
slide
That's so
12.
that's like a victim impact for sentencing, not for
So
guilt.
how about slide 12?
It's a similar one as the one earlier, so we can take out, we can take that out in the same way and introduce it if we need to. And
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that was wild. She just hot mic'd he was loved. She should
Is
know
the
better.
Picture with the placards from obviously some shooting already in evidence.
I don't think this particular one is, but it will be. We anticipate that this will be
Okay.
admitted in
Well,
evidence.
if you want to present it to him and ask him about it, that's fine.
Okay.
And the second one on there, do y'all intend to have him talk about that picture?
We can take that out.
Okay.
L after L.
All right. So then
Moses, I think she's
13
piecing it
essentially won't be
together that-
used, and you can, if he can identify what's the crime scene photo, then he can testify to that.
That
Okay,
love just wants to do what love wants to
Number
do.
14.
You guys were not kidding about this PowerPoint.
So, Judge, we don't
Arguments
have
being wild.
Number 14, we would need to introduce, I think, the photographs versus putting it up.
Okay.
We would, yeah, as opposed to using it as a demonstrative.
Okay.
With some
And I mean, if they're
photographs.
already in, then obviously if he needs to testify to them, he can. And if they're not in, you need to be able to, obviously you need to be able to lay the foundation.
Right.
but-
And we may just get, some of the ones that are, as the court has already pointed out, some of the ones that are already in and put them on, just to use those as our exhibits with
Okay.
him.
She's got like one slide and one photo that can be used new out of all of this. Thank you, Moses. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, presumably this shows everybody's
Whitaker chose
a
violence
relation-
today.
in a relation to these three people.
It does. He testified about that. But this is just like putting faces to the names and sort of family diagramming. And I think we actually did that earlier. So
Okay.
it would be referring back to something that's already.
I'd be objecting.
Then,
Your Honor, the mother, if I interrupt, I apologize. If the mother of Mr. Thomas testified to family relations, the father of Mr. Thomas testified to family relations, and Detective Dennis testified. Now, he may not have, actually. He may not have. So it's definitely the parents, the mother and the father, I would be, it's just repetitive.
Okay, sounds like she doesn't intend to use this anyway, upon further reflection. All right, slide 16. We still have a current intent to use this slide.
We cannot use 16.
Okay. Okay, 17.
17. We can as well not use, so what, I think that what we'll do is just take some of the pictures, photographs that we've already admitted
Okay,
and use
Just
those
giving
as
up?
exhibits rather than trying
Okay.
to introduce whole hog. this
sounds
PowerPoint.
reasonable.
Whole hog, because she didn't want to
So
say wholesale.
18. Y'all still want to be using that?
No, we cannot,
Okay.
we cannot.
Jeez, look at
Well,
Whitaker.
except that I think that the photograph in the bottom right corner
Yeah.
were guns that were recovered, but I'll confirm with Dennis. I won't need so that might be something that we could use as an exhibit and not
Okay.
a slide. So if there's anything in this picture, certainly not the top three,
Okay.
but if that bottom right picture, if we do anything, we would tender it as an exhibit versus trying to put it in on a demonstrative slide.
Okay, and these are all
It was the stuff that was collected from
from
one of the vehicles.
from an alleged rival gang.
Yes, after the shooting at 1006 Hill Street. Actually, not the rival gang. This was the one that was collected from the people who were shooting back at the people who were shooting
Oh,
at
okay.
them.
All right. Well, I mean,
But
I could anticipate some potential objections from the defense at the point in time if you seek to tender that, but we'll just deal with that at trial. But don't be surprised, because I certainly think if I were the defense attorney, I might have an objection to it.
I think they wanted this part in because this
Oh,
is from
well,
the
we'll
other
see.
side. This is
We'll
the
see what
guns
the
from
strategy is.
from the other side. This is-
We'll see.
okay.
Okay. That's what makes trials interesting.
So 18 is out.
18 is out. 19.
Adams with the double checking is great.
19, we have not yet introduced that photograph, but I think that
The one on the bottom, or?
yes,
Okay.
the one on the bottom. Part of that photograph is part of what was talked about in the interview with Mr. Copeland that has been shown to the jury so far. So we could definitely take out the word, we'll do whatever the court instructs, but that photograph, we can introduce it as an exhibit if it has not already been admitted, and we cannot publish the PowerPoint slide.
Okay.
And in that vein, Judge, with respect to, since we're going through it like that, rather than introducing, no, I think maybe we should. I was going to say, rather than introducing the whole thing as just, here's his demonstrator that he's using, since we're cutting it up and using parts of it, rather than saying, okay, we're going to use this, we won't use the PowerPoint.
Right.
We'll use exhibits that either have been admitted
Okay.
or that we tender through
Okay.
him.
All right. And so that'll be true for the rest of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So the whole PowerPoint's out.
Well,
Am I hearing that correctly?
we won't use the PowerPoint.
Yes, that she's just saying it's going to be easier not to. Because I mean, I would imagine he's probably kind of like press play and he's like, here's what happens in slide 1 and slide 2. And if he's not doing that, then it might be easier to do it another way.
Right.
Okay. All right. So then I guess as for the rest of it, we can keep going through with regard to the pictures themselves, or you can just, if there are some pictures depicted within the slides that the defense thinks are particularly egregious or objectionable that you want to go ahead and alert me to, that's fine. Otherwise, I guess we'll just see what happens at trial.